Hey guys, it's Abigail. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how to become a better author. Now, this is part 1. There will be a part next Tuesday, so be sure to tune in for that. I am not the best author in the whole world, but I definitely have tips and tricks that I have learned over the years with both just experience and people's advice that they've given to me. So I thought that today I would share that with you guys, so that way hopefully it would be able to improve you guys' writing if you guys are struggling. Tip number 1. So I used to really struggle with cramming my words into so many sentences that were just pushed together, and it was hard to read because it wasn't very smooth. I have learned how to stretch them over the years just by taking the details that you want, and sometimes it seems really difficult, but if you take the details that you really want and you're like, I want this to be in the book, that's fine. Just stretch it out more, and it can be in the same sentences. If you're like, I don't know what other way to put it, just move the sentences around so that way they still make sense with the book, but they at the same time will give the reader more of a break in between a lot of detail. So you can give the same amount of detail, just spread it out more so that way it's not so compact. Tip number 2 is actually kind of talking about myself. So I am homeschooled, so I use the curriculum My Creative Writing, which has a beginner, intermediate, and advanced stage to it. So if you want to do something super stretching, do advanced. If you want to take it more like chill, do beginner. And if you want to just stay comfortable, I guess, then intermediate. It really all depends on your skill level and whatever you're comfortable with. So if you want to go and try to stretch yourself, that's fine. Or if you're like, I want to take it more easy but still keep up on my writing, then that's another way to do it. My Creative Writing will help you just learn how to put words together nicely, and also help you to be able to think of words, because sometimes it's difficult to even think of the right words, and if you can think of them, then it'll be a lot easier to write. Tip number 3. So basically, I use Google Docs for my writing, so that way I can save all my progress together, and I can look back at it whenever I want. I don't have to worry about losing it in a book or something. Now, if you're writing a book in like a notebook or something like that, that's perfectly fine, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying my preference is Google Docs. That way I can access it from any device, from any location. If I'm wanting to show a friend something and I'm at their house, I don't have to bring the book with me and risk it getting ruined or torn or something like that. I can just log into my Google account and then have it right there. So that is super nice. You can share it with people and choose if you want them to be an editor, or if you want them to be a viewer, or if you want them to be a commenter. Commenter means they can go and comment, and yeah, that's what it sounds like. Viewer, you can just view it, can't say anything, and editor can change things permanently. I prefer not to share it and do editors because I don't want people changing things without my knowledge. If I'm wanting them to be able to change things, I'll do commenter. That way they can edit things, but when I log in, it'll say, do you want to change this or do you want to keep this? And I can choose, okay, their suggestion's good, or no, I want my own. So that is something that's also helped me, because I can go back and look at my previous writings and see how much I've improved, and it's really encouraging. So don't go back and change all your work just because you're unhappy with it. If it's the book that you're writing currently, go for it, but don't go back and change the very beginning ones, because if you leave them, then you can look back and realize how much that you've grown and how much your writing has changed, and it'll really help you to be able to push forward and just be so encouraged because you can see the progress. Tip number 4. So co-authoring is another thing. If you are struggling and just want help writing and don't want to write a whole book by yourself, because I get it, that can definitely be overwhelming. The first book that I ever finished was co-authored, 82 pages long, a 6x8. so not super big, but definitely a book still. So that was super fun to write, and I would say if you're going to co-author, pick someone who's going to sort of match your skill level in writing, because if they're way better than you or not as good as you, it's going to be a little more difficult. But if you have someone who's closer to your skill level in writing, it's going to be a lot easier for you both, and it's going to go pretty smoothly. Like I said, the first book that I ever finished was co-authored, and that's perfectly fine to start with. The next book that I'm writing is 76 pages long. It's not done yet, and I'm writing that one by myself. So I started with co-authoring, and then was able to move on to it by myself. Co-authoring, we didn't co-author the whole book, but we did do most of it, and that was a very fun experience, and I would definitely recommend you trying that at least once in one of your books, because it's super fun to do, and yeah, it's really eye-opening, because you can look at other people's writing and be like, their writing is so much different than mine, and then you guys can talk about it and work out how you want to do that, and it's kind of a fun journey to go on with somebody else, and you can be like, wow, like, this is just so cool, because that's how I found it. I was like, this is so fun, because you get to work on something that you're both passionate about, and you do it together. Tip number 5. So speaking of passion, I believe that if you are passionate about a subject, it's going to go a lot smoother for you, and your book is going to be a lot more smooth sailing than rough patches because you're not passionate about it. If you're not passionate about a subject, it's going to be more difficult to write, but if you are really passionate about it, it's going to be able to just go far and be super interesting to read. Otherwise, it might just fall flat. Tip number 6. So this one is if you get stuck in a writer's rut. I was stuck in a writer's rut for a couple months, and I didn't ask people to come beside me and help me get out of it. If you're stuck, look to the people who are close to you, your family, your really close friends, people who love you and you love them. If you are really needing help, don't be afraid to reach out and ask people. I was afraid because I didn't want them to judge me. I wanted to write the book by myself. But if you do that, you're just being really, arrogant. And I didn't think of it as arrogance. I was like, no, I want to write this book by myself. But if I had asked people to come and actually give me suggestions to help me out, I would have been able to get unstuck faster. So that is something that I learned from my mistakes, because I did not know what to do, and now I do. So if I ever get stuck in a writer's rut, I can go and ask people, and they will be glad to come beside you. You'll be surprised how many people will give suggestions. Even if some of them are funny suggestions or something like that, it'll get your creative mind thinking again and make you passionate about the book again. Because I got stuck in a writer's rut, then I got out, but it had been so long that I'd lost some of my passion for the book, and I was able to stir it up again, but it wasn't as intense as it was at the beginning. So that's tip number 6, is just help yourself by letting other people help you. So that's all the tips that I have for you guys today. Be sure to tune in next week, where I will be talking more about how to become a better author, but it won't be the same tips. It'll be different ones, so I won't bore you guys. And be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get notified every time I post a new video. It does help me if you like it, because liking and subscribing lets me know that you enjoy my content, and it just encourages me to keep going. So please do that, and if you have any comments that you would like to make, I will be answering the comments 30 minutes after I post every video, and I'll be posting every Tuesday as best as I can at 10 o'clock a.m. Be sure to tune in for that. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye.